Oh, sorry, I just need to unmute myself. Sorry, folks. Good morning to the European crossover webinar, and I was a couple of seconds late, literally seconds. I was just posting the economic release for next week, so I wanted to go in and point that out. And Irene had asked about taking a closer look at Eurodollar, as well as Bitcoin. We're starting out a little bit slow today as far as momentum, but although the cable is on its highs, Euro is still doing pretty well, and S&P is kind of holding up, but we're starting a little bit slow as far as just plain on momentum. Let's just go in and take a look where we stand, just a quick overview. Now, we just got, I have that earnings thing on my screen. We just got German business expectations, which came in at 99.5. They were like 101, and current assessments 94.1, came in pretty much in line. They were looking for 94.4, and business climate index 96.8 versus 97.8, pretty much in line, but Euro's just a tad bit lower. That it's just traded very, very quiet trading. As we come into today into the States, there's no economic data until we come into the States after this, and there's going to be core durable goods orders. That's at 8:30 Eastern, along with durable orders. Let's take a look here. Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index will be out at 10:30 Eastern. That's about it. Let's just take a quick overview. And as you can see, you've got cable, and cable's doing pretty well here, and a little bit of a crossroad here in cable. Let me point a couple things, and we'll go and move into the analysis. So if you look at cable, this is the opening range. You see the green dotted lines? I use that on Monday. I have these colored because quite often you'll see the market return to prior opening range highs, whether it's the currencies or indices or whatever. So I like to mark them, and on Monday, I have it as a dark green. So you can see here, and that's why I like that opening range. And as I mentioned before, like in the indexes, and when the trade initially doesn't start, but I'm just saying it's considered when they're giving it the go on the opening range, it's going to be the first 30 seconds, which some people might think that's crazy, but when you see the amount of thousands and tens of thousands of contracts that go off the board in that first 30 seconds, you can understand why. But with FX, what I do is I use the opening range for the first 5 minutes, and I think you can see the volume. Look how the volume comes in here. You get a good setup here in that first 5 minute bar. As long as we're above the opening range, you got to go with it. You can see we dip into the opening range. But we're at a bit of a key juncture. A couple of key things I wanted to go and focus on. You can see here's the, you'll see where during the day I'll have the VWAP, which is the volume weighted average price. Of course, I'm using the futures because I'm not going to be able to derive that data from the cash. But that kicks off of the session. And then the gray line, this dark gray line, I do it from the electronic session open, okay? But you can move the VWAP, for significant highs or lows. Well, that being said, here's that high that we saw back, I think it was the last Monday it was. And if you look here, since the VWAP, because it shows you where the money's coming in or where the price counts against the money, you can see here that as the market went lower, the VWAP kept it from that top, from the high. The VWAP from that high kept the market in check. You can see here, we tried to rally back. Market wasn't able to get above it. We did back. We tried one more, tried it, and the market lost its momentum and we went down. Earlier on the session, much earlier, you can see the market pressed up against the VWAP, and now we've pressed up against it. Do have a couple of conflicting things that you can see now. Look, that shows to me that and you can see how important the VWAP is, like on the lows. You can see the low back on April the 9th, okay? And as the market kept holding up against this VWAP, it kept dipping lower because of course the momentum was going against the market. Look how big that momentum was. And you can see when the market did break down, look where it held up against the VWAP off the lows from April the, give it the exact date, April the 9th. You see that? That was at the 136, the 136.80. So you can see, look how the market, when it broke down here, we found that support at the VWAP. Two lows really opened the door for us to move higher. And even that last test held at the VWAP off of those lows, and boom, we're higher. But you can see here that now, this had me a little bit concerned, is if you were trying to take a short, is because the bulls have wrested control from the bears as far as the VWAP off of those highs. Now, obviously, they were holding the VWAP off the lows, but they've turned things around, and that opens the door for us to go higher. Now, what I mentioned about being conflicting, a little bit of conflicting, maybe not conflicting, but what we're looking at is if we look at the profile, and I've got the 6B, which is a cable futures here. Let's pull this back a bit. Now the profiles, I have them set up from the electronic session when it comes to the currencies. And here's the current session right now, and you can see the market is right there, 39.29. Okay. Well, the profile, here's the profile from Friday, here's the profile from Thursday and Wednesday. You can see here the profile from Thursday, the point of control came in at 39.32. We're right there. And point of control from Wednesday came in right there at 39.37. So I'm thinking, okay, well, we've already had a pretty good little run. Will this be a tough area to get above? You would think so, okay? And you think, okay, well, maybe the market's going to maybe run out of gas a little bit, and maybe we'll start to edge back. But right now, like I said, if you look at the VWAP off of those highs, the bulls have certainly wrested control of the bears, and so potentially we can make a move up in here, and maybe we might even call all the way up here to potentially this the range, the value-added range right here. That value added low comes in at 39.59 for the 6B. Now, interesting thing is that look on the weekly chart, and we'll see that in the analysis. 39.16/18 is huge on the weekly chart. If this thing were to finish the week above that, might be something else. But something that you want to keep in mind, but this could be towards the end of this week, obviously, to see where we're at. But we'll see if this is able to get above 39.37, really opens the door for this now to move all the way back up, because garnering 2 points of control off that, if we're able to move above it and sustain it, really opens the door for us to try and push higher. Enough of that though. Let's go and get started in the analysis, as I really wanted to focus a lot on the euro and Bitcoin, and we will under just the analysis that we'll have. So let's just go on and get into that. I think that's best at this point. So certainly the door is open for that cable to move higher. That's what I'm saying is, and you have to respect that, because like I said, I think those points of controls I told you, that's key, and it actually tells you something if we get above that and hold it. But once again, like I said, you got to respect that as I said, that volume weighted average price, the VWAP off of the highs, shows that the bears have taken, the bulls have wrested control and adding on to momentum. So you got to respect that. Let's go in and pull out the bias chart, and we'll get to the analysis. Bear with me. System's doing a cleanup, and it's right on top of my Excel. Let's see if I can get this to pull up. Oh, good. So let's start with the euro dollar. Oh, doggone, don't tell me I didn't save the notes. That is really weird. I'll have to go off the notes off of the, they're there. And yeah, the basic technical, I have to go and pull that. Let's see the best way to go do this. Not sure I didn't save it. Okay, let's pull up the notes. So the euro closed the prior week above 2073, brushing up against 2102, which is 61% of 1702 to 2348. Here we are. Oh, let's put that to the daily. Maybe that's why it didn't, but it should still keep the notes. Nope. That's odd. So anyway, euro closed the prior week above 2073, brushing up against 2102, which is 61%. Resistance for the pair to start the week will be 2131, with support at 2047. The high so far is 2117. So 2047. 2131. Obviously still bullish. I mean, this is huge here, the way this market was able to go in and break above this 2073. And let's go and open this up a bit. Might be too big, but you'll be able to see it clear. Look how key that 2073 was. And you can see how the market had rallied up to it. It faded against it. We came back up. We tried to challenge it on Thursday, fell back. And on Friday, we saw this market move higher. And this really opens the door for a challenge up to 21. That's what got the 2131. That's why there's my resistance here. It really opens the challenge here. I mean, we're acting a little bit tired. But this was a solid close. I mean, someone can try and fade it if you want, but if you look at just the technicals, you'd have to think, we'll see what happens, is that anyone who's been bullish, they're still in control. They're not letting up. Now, if you're looking just like the same way we kind of talked about, we referenced about cable, where would this go where longs may lay off? Well, longs would probably say, well, I'm still long. I'm just going to wait for 2131 and then I'll lay some off there. So although we're working with a little bit of a gravestone doji at the moment, that's just at the moment, we might be able to move higher. And we did come up here to the 61%, but clearly the bulls are in control. I mean, if you were bearish, let's say against this 2047 and then 2073 was huge, and we paired back, we talked about that. That was one of our bias chart resistance the prior week. 2073, you can see the significance of this 2073 going all the way back. We pair back, the market makes this run on ECB day. We come up short of the 2073. We get a bearish close, negative close here. Man, it looks like it's ready to finally go lower. Bears are finally starting to, rub their hands together and like, finally. And then also we come back real strong. And then that had to get a lot of people that stopped out bears. And so if you're just hell bent to be bearish the euro, I guess you can be hell bent to be bearish the euro. And we have come a ways. We have come a strong ways up here. But like I said, you got to admit the bulls are in control. So I mean, if someone wants to step in and say, "Well, I'll fade against 61%," okay, that's fine. I'm just saying is right now those guys are still in control, and this is what they're looking at. It's 2131. Let's go on and move into cable. know, I can't believe that. Oh, I know they did a big update with Thinkorswim. That must have been it. Cleaned everything out. I'll move into cable. So cable, after starting the prior week on a tear, paired back to finish the week with a poor weekly candle. Let's go to that poor weekly candle. There you go. There we go. Cable, after starting the week on a tear, paired back to finish the week with a poor weekly candle, albeit did still finish positive. Resistance for the pair will be 39.03, followed by 39.33. Support will be 38.36, followed by 38.15. So it's going to be 39.33, and let's go here. And support, let's go at 38.36. Doesn't look like we're going to get there. Now, here's a couple of things I did want to take a look at with cable. Also, look at this 39.16. This is huge on a weekly. See, look at this. This open here, actually, this close was at 39.16. Okay. This high right here is 39.16. Now, this is a weekly chart. It's not like it's a 10-minute or a 30-minute chart. Okay. The high from 2 weeks prior, which is going to be a third week prior, was 39.18. So this is huge, although it's at the start of the week, so we don't have to worry about that right now. But I'm just saying, initially, had we had struggled right in here, that would have been a good area to say, okay, well, we got a little bit of a key level there. Now, we'll have to see how it finished for the week, but right now, like it's mentioned here, this is huge right here. We had those 2-pointed controls from April 20th and April 21st at 39.32 and 39.37 on the 6B. So we'll just have to see how we go. But right now, as I mentioned, the key thing is, even though we're at an area where you would see people starting to lay off, but like I said, right now, you got to admit, at least for now, the bulls have wrested control for the bears on VWAP. Let's go and move into Aussie Dollar. So the Aussie finished the prior week with a gravestone doji on the weekly. Let's go and take a look at the weekly. Albeit with a positive close. Verdict? Answer. The jury is still out. Resistance will be 77.58 with shorts to cover with a close above that level. Support will be 76.96. So here's a weekly chart, but we can even take a look here on the daily. We got above 76.56 here, but we just couldn't seal the deal. So, and as I mentioned, what's the verdict? The answer is the jury is still out. You can see the significance of 77.58. And right now, the bulls are looking pretty much in control right now. Resistance right now is going to be right there, which is 77.87. But 77.58, that's huge right here. Now, it's held this market in check, and did they kill the bears right here? I think we got to what, 78.10, or no, we actually made it up to what, 78.15? Man, holy smokes. But at the end of the day, they couldn't seal the deal and close it over 77.58. Will they be able to close it over 77.58 this time? Possibly so. If they do, then that cleans out the shorts. It doesn't mean we can't go low. I'm just saying is if you're short, you got to say, well, you know what? That's it. Once they close with 77.58, I'm out. I got to cover my shorts. And I'm just saying is I haven't traded the Aussie in a long, long, long time. I'm just saying is you have to put yourself in the other person's shoes, and I'm putting it in the other person's shoes. Technically speaking, you just can't be short. I mean, if you're short, you can, but I'm just saying technically you got to cover if we close above 77.58. So you can say, wow, that's why lots of times I always say the end of a bar is put up or shut up time, whether it's a 30-minute, an hourly, 2 hour, daily. Well, that's why lots of times that's why it's so key because once again, what happened at the end of the day? Well, those that were bearish said, you know what, man, I can't believe that this high. I'll close them by the end of the day. I'll have to close. Well, then if they were short, they were able to escape with the 77.58. It didn't seal the deal. And of course, then the market really went lower. And boy, some people were able to dodge the bullet, even cover the short share. But once it gets above, you're like, no, I really think we're going down to 76 or 75, and you're still short. You're still short. You got, oh man. Well, if it closes above 77.58, I got to cover. I got to get out because you don't know. Technically, now the bulls will be in control, and then they're not going to get out anytime soon. And even if someone's bearish, they're going to say, well, I'll wait till it goes up to here and see what happens. So that's what I'm saying. That'll be the key thing. 77.58. Let's put that here. 77.58. Let's put an asterisk, noting how key it is, and then we'll put 87. See whether or not it gets above that. And then 76.94 for support. Let's move into the dollar yen. This dollar yen is something else. So the dollar yen broke to new lows on Friday, finding support at 750 before closing the day with a hammer. You can see the little hammer, imperfect hammer with a little hammer there. The pair, although bearish, has a potential for some short coverage. Resistance will come in at 836 with support at 774. Well, we're even below the support. This dollar yen has been something else, and why I haven't traded dollar yen in a long time, but I'm just saying why I've learned the hard way. You just have to respect the technicals. That's it. You can. I've been the kind of person, oh, it can't go any higher. Oh, it can't go any lower. Yes, it can. It can. And you have to respect those technicals. So, I mean, yes, this market was really doing really well. And actually, I had it still as bearish, bullish, but still got to remark it as bullish, bearish now. Although technically, we've had a pretty good run here. But like I said, look at this move. I mean, you can't ignore this. I mean, although I can see where people may have got long on let's say a 30% pullback or whatever, but man, the bears have wrested control and they have hung on like nobody's business. So it's going to be 774. And resistance is 836. Technically, from a daily standpoint, it's still bullish. On a short-term standpoint, it's been bearish right here, but I'm just saying when you look at this overall, it's still bullish, We're gonna have to see two closes below 751 before we can say it's bearish now. Because you see here, we failed here, but the market is still bullish. So we need to see two consecutive daily closes above 751, and then they've broken the back. Let's go on and move into the dollar index. So the dollar is closed at new lows on this move, hitting 90.82, which is a 61%. You can see that. Support for next week will be 90.56. You can see that right there. And the significance. Let's pull this back. See that coming across all these touches. 90.56 with resistance at 91.36. What more can you say? The dollar's a dog. Hold on. Let's go to Bitcoin. Okay, the mirror says look at platinum, palladium, and we will. Mira, no problems. Glad to do it. Hang on. I just saw your message now, so sorry about that. But we'll get to it. Hang on. And thanks for reminding me, because I would have completely forgotten. Would have not crossed my mind. Hang on. So let's go and take a look at Bitcoin here. We'll take a look at the daily. And let's see how they put on the notes. Bitcoin, after hitting the interim target last week, after hitting the interim target last week, the market remains under pressure, hovering at the 50,000 mark. Support for the week ahead will be 46,514 or 46,514, with the resistance at 51,359. Let me write those down, and then we'll take a little bit closer look. As I said, 46,514. 51,359. And once again, it's still overall bullish. So we take a look at it. Oh, wow, we're above 52 right now. So we're making a pretty good little move here. Let's go and pull this up. So we got to that mark room. We're talking about 47,900 slash 47,800. I guess we were able to get to that area. Remember here, this isn't bad. I mean, I just looked at little levels because don't forget, don't want to, break my arm, pat myself on the back, but I did say 6. Remember that target we had from 2 weeks ago? Actually lasted for a while. 64,775, and we just barely took it out by what, $100 or something like that. And I was looking for this, but when this market broke like that, remember last week, that's when I had my thoughts. I was looking here. Okay, it'll overshoot a little bit. 47,800. I don't know if I said 47,800, 900. I thought I said 800, but $100 certainly ain't going to make any difference. But I thought it looked like we could maybe push a little bit lower, but this market is starting out the week fairly well. So we're actually above where we're at now. We had our 51,359. Well, obviously, look, they're looking at this key level right there, which is 53,436. And boy, they're doing pretty good. 53,436. 53,436. Well, I'm going to stick with what I had. I don't like to just change things around, but have to recognize where we're at. And if someone's looking at the box chart, they can say, well, what good does that do? It's above it. And it's not just a little bit above it. It's a decent amount above it. So that's 53,346, I think I said. I'll double check it. 53,436. 436. Transposing numbers. And let's take a look at it on a 2-hour chart. Good run here. Bitcoin responds real well to Fibonacci. So let's see. The the 38% would come in at 53,869. So maybe they could gun some stops. Keep that in mind. 53,869 is the 38%. Okay, now I'll take care of this for Bitcoin. I'll leave that in place. We'll know about that tomorrow. Next market is going to be the SPOOs. This was pretty interesting also. So the S&P saw a strong run on Friday, cleaning out bearish trades from the day before. Our concern for the bulls was a 20-handle fade in the last 25 minutes on very heavy volume. Resistance to start the week will be 41.75 with support at 41.56. So we are pulling back. Look. Here's the deal on the SPOOs. They really, I didn't even really notice. I mean, I noticed we were here, but now we're just starting to break a little bit here. And this 41.67 is that pivot. At the end of the day, I did say on Twitter, well, not at the very, very end of the day, but I thought here that the market was going to just stop around 41.75. And I said, okay, I think by the end of the day, we may fade back into the pivot, 41.67, which is what we did, although not before the market really took off here. Here's the problem, though. If you look here, look on Friday. Look at that volume on the way down. This is a 5-minute bar. We hit over 100,000. That was just huge on one 5-minute bar. So that's why I said on very heavy volume, I'm thinking the market, after cleaning out all those bears and stuff like that, is that now we're going to have to start to rotate a little bit lower. Still definitely bullish and going to find some support here at that pivot. But we have resistance today at 41.75. Looks like the high today is 41.76, so not bad. And support's going to be 41.56. But that's the big concern. Plus, look at it on a 2-hour chart. You had a little bit of a gravestone doji. Looking at Nasdaq. Looks like I got rid of the Nasdaq daily in 2-hour. That's interesting. Although I'm not going to focus on it, looks like it did get rid of that, and that would have been an error. I'll have to put that back up here. I didn't mean to get rid of it, but apparently I did. So let's just go into, let's see what we'll do. Oh, wow, that's good. That's cool. It kept the chart. That's good news. Make sure to save that. kept the chart and the labels. Good stuff. We are starting to back down a little bit here in Nasdaq. Had that run. We did have that run up in here, but you can see the market's kind of weakening a bit here. And I think people might be starting to lay a little bit off as we come into earnings. Thinking support for today, and boy, it's just like Spoos. It really cleaned out some shorts. Let's go with this low right here. You see that right there for support, and that would be actually this one right here, which is a reaction. 13,855, which isn't very low at all. I think I'm liking this 13,842 better. So let's go with 13,842. And on the upside, right here, that orange line right there, 13,930, 13,931. I just like the way that the Spoos trade, because they work really well with the profile. The rotations are clean. Yeah, like even this weekend, I did 41.75 from a resistance, and look, the high was 41.76, and the rotations are clean, and you can see how easily this market rotated back. As I said on Friday, I think it's going to rotate back to the pivot, which is 41.67. The market low on Friday, I mean, as we sold off, I think was at 41.66. I mean, it just trades so well, and we get these overshoots to the upside and the downside with Nasdaq. And I like to come in at specific levels. As a day trader, we get these wild overshoots. It just like makes it just really difficult to trade. Oh, wow, we really just saw the cable come off. Interesting. A little bit of momentum breaking here. Look at that. Remember, we talked about that weekly level. Now, the spot is traded at 39.21. That's interesting that the futures came off that much. And the spot, look, the spot's only 6 from its highs, yet the 6B futures have come off quite a bit from their highs. Boy, that's an interesting dynamic. Let's go and move into gold. That is really interesting. Okay, gold posted a run to 1,800 before paring back $25. The bulls have wrested control of the market on the backdrop of the break from 1763. Resistance will be 1788 with support at 1764. So there we go. 1788, 764. Let's go move into crude oil. Okay, crude finished the week in the middle of the range. The pair is bracketed by $63 as resistance with support at 61.40. And here we're looking at crude oil. We saw this, and just like the bias chart, we just said what we look at for the potential area where there's a good battle, and each day. And my Asian analysis before the market when we were in Europe, I was looking at 64. 27, and the high was what? I think it was 64.37. Of course, we really sold off big time. The market has no specific direction, although to start the week, the bias is bearish. And actually, look, that we're doing just that. You see here. Support, keeping it simple. We said 61.40, so we'll stick with that. Although you can see down here that $61 is pretty key. So I said 61.40, I'll stick with that. And the upside resistance is going to be right there. You see this bar right there? Right there. I'll go with that. I'll call it. That bar right there. Right there. See it? 61.72, which is not that high from where we're at, but anyway, 61.72. This is pretty interesting. Look at cable. Now we're starting to come down, but the futures have come down first, and they're on their lows, our most recent lows. We're in that opening range area here. There's the bias chart, and we'll switch over to take a look at Palladium, Platinum. Here's Platinum. Wow, we're looking pretty good here in Platinum. If long as we can get, if we can get a daily close above 1246, this market, if we get a daily close above 1246, the market is now open to challenge up in here at 1276. We've got to get that daily close, but we've done a lot of good homework here. Now, because the market's already bullish, that's what we can scoot up. Now, if this market was like, let give you an example, like the yen. You know how the yen is like down, 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 down. That's when the situation, like I said, we're like the Aussie. Well, not anymore because Aussie's neutral. But if you got something like the yen down, 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 you'd have to see two consecutive closes above a key technical level to say, okay, now it's going to be bull. Now we've broken the bear's back. Doesn't mean it's bullish, but we start the bears. Well, this case, this market never was in a bearish mode. You see, we were just consolidating. So you get this close about 1246 right there. There's that closing basis. 1247. This market can start scooting back towards these highs, which really could make a run up to 1286. Actually, it's 1287. And that's platinum. Let's just go look at palladium. And wow, this market is above the 161%. If we close above this 161%, boy, this market is just going to keep on going and realistically take out these highs. Not sure how much further it's going to go, but definitely make a good run. So with that, we'll call it a day. And thanks for joining us in the European crossover webinar. And we'll post a bias chart. We'll see you in the chat room. Thank you.